So here Kapila Muni is starting to address Mother Devahuti. Mother Devahuti had requested Kapila Muni to speak on the subject matter of matter and spirit, for she was feeling herself, being put herself in the abyss of ignorance and finding herself under the grip of false ego. She requested Kapila Muni to enlighten her that how to come out of this situation, for being disturbed by the senses, which is materially afflicted. And Kapila Muni has begun to speak from first few verses, appreciating Mother Devahuti's questions. And he has begun to speak about yoga system, which will in turn, by practicing which, by knowing which, one can come out of the state of situation which actually Mother Devahuti is exhibiting. That is a state of situation of everyone in this world, for that matter. Mother Devahuti, she is a great devotee of the Lord. Just like Arjuna took the role of an ordinary person, Mother Devahuti, although she is a woman by her nature, by the body, but she even to ask such kind of wonderful question needs a lot of intelligence, spiritual intelligence. So she has taken the role of an ordinary person, just like Arjuna, and giving an opportunity for Lord Kapila to speak and introduce about a yoga system, which is known as Sankhya Yoga, which is also spoken by Krishna also earlier in Bhagavad Gita. Elaborately, he has also explained. The same thing is being repeated here by Lord Kapila. So, the yoga system, what Kapila Muni is speaking here, is that yoga system which is related to the Supreme Lord and which is related to the living entities, and knowing this yoga system and practicing this yoga system will be an ultimate welfare for the living entities. And by knowing this yoga system, by practicing this yoga system, he'll be able to come out of the afflictions of material distress and material happiness also. Material happiness also very soon follow with material distress. Some object, some material possession which would give us pleasure initially, some happiness, from the same object, one will very soon come to a state of distress also. So a real yoga system is that yoga system which actually explains or addresses these questions. And in the previous verse, Kapila Muni mentioned that this yoga system is nothing new that he is introducing to Mother Devahuti. It is being already spoken to the sages. Kapila Muni is saying, I have already spoken to the sages in the past. Why specifically Kapila Muni is also referring to the sages is because he is not giving something very new philosophy. And the sages received this knowledge because they were also anxious. Just like how Mother Devahuti is anxious to hear, the sages were also anxious to hear, and that's how it was presented to them previously. So knowledge, in that sense, we can understand, will be revealed to us if we are anxious to hear. It will be brought to those people who are anxious to hear. So, more we are anxious to hear, Lord will also facilitate to make us hear. And Kapila Muni, what he has given here, he says that it's nothing new. It has been already been revealed in the past to the sages. Although people have a mentality here always to know something new. When we meet sometimes people, they ask us, Swamiji, kya naya hai bataiye? In Gujarati they say, Su nawa juni. Right, if I am correct? Su nawa cha. What is new? Always they try to know what is new, what is new. So what is new? Yesterday you were 40-year-old, today you are 41. What is old? Yesterday you were 40. So you are growing old. That means you are getting close to death. So people have that curiosity to know always something new. And Lord doesn't need to cater the needs of the common man who are anxiously looking for something new. From the perspective of the Lord, He is clear. I am not going to give anything new. For that matter, even if Lord gives something new, still it is authenticated, because whatever Lord speaks, whether new or old, it is dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranita. Whatever is spoken by the Lord is tattva, is absolute truth. That is the religion. That is the code of conduct of any religion. But Lord will not just bring some new theories just to cater the need of a common man. Similarly, spiritual master also doesn't give something to cater the need of a common man. Spiritual master is bound by the system that he will just repeat what the parampara has a conclusion about the subject matter concerning the Lord. When Prabhupada was advised to name the institution as God consciousness instead of Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada refused. When Prabhupada was advised by someone when he was traveling to West, he was advised to go in pant and shirt. You should go in pant. What is this dhoti? Who will listen to you? So Prabhupada said no. So he will not compromise the standards of the Vedic conclusion just to suit the need of the common man who is expecting something new. Similarly, a preacher who is preaching the subject matter of Krishna consciousness, representing his spiritual master, also supposed to not compromise on the conclusions, just to bring some kind of followership, or just to attract the common man. A preacher cannot dilute the principles to attract the common man. He simply repeats what he has heard from the spiritual master. For that matter, Maitreya Rishi is repeating here to Vidura what he has heard from Krishna. If you recollect, Maitreya Rishi heard from Krishna along with Uddhava. And what he heard, he is repeating here. So that should be standard of any preaching formula. Simply repeat what is heard. Of course, when that repeating is mixed with one's realization, that it will be even more very nice. So, in that lines, Kapila Muni is speaking the yoga system, introducing the yoga system here. Further, he is talking here, and in this verse specifically, he is speaking about two important subject, the concept of what is bondage and the concept of liberation. Kapila Muni is explaining here. Chetaha kalavasya bandhaya muktaye chatmano matam guneshu saktam bandhaya ratam va pumsi muktaye. Bandhaya means bondage, of course. And muktaye means, mukti means liberation, that we know always. Any yoga system, any bona fide yoga system, if you want to understand what should be the desired result of any yoga system, this is the desired result of any yoga system. The yoga system should actually help the conditioned living entities here to attain the platform of liberation. And what is bandhaya and what is mukti, what is muktaye, this should be the prime subject matter of understanding for any person who wants to advance in spiritual knowledge. Without that, actually one will not be able to really advance in spiritual life. One must have started to practice some spiritual life without understanding these two important concepts. That means he has started from a wrong understanding right from the beginning. From one's understanding point of view, he may be thinking, I am practicing some spiritual process, but he doesn't know what is bondage and what is liberation. That means he has really not understood what is actually spiritual process is meant for. And it is human beings who are supposed to understand these two subject matters primarily. Animals cannot understand these two subjects. What is bondage or what causes bondage or what is liberation or how to get liberated. Animals cannot understand. And if human beings are also not interested in understanding the subject matter of bondage and liberation, then he is also as good as an animal, is what the scriptures talk about. So, what causes someone's bondage? What is exactly bondage? That is explained here by Kapila Muni. Guneshu saktam bandhaya. Guneshu means the modes of nature. Guneshu saktam. Saktam means attachment. If someone is attached to the three modes of material nature, then he is in the state of bondage or in a state of conditioned life. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, Trivir gunamair bhavair. Bhavair means consciousness. When the consciousness is influenced by the three modes of material nature, then he is in the state of conditioned life. We are conditioned by some rules and regulations. We have been hearing this nomenclature, conditioned state of life, very, very often. But what exactly is conditioned life? Conditioned life means one is forced to live under some conditions. And that condition is caused by the three modes of nature, the material modes of Sattva, Raja and Tamogun. Prabhupada compares, or scriptures compares, the three modes of material nature as a ropes. Just like here we are saying bondage. Bondage means bound by what? Generally when we are bound by the ropes. When someone is bound by the ropes, he cannot come out. He cannot relieve himself. Similarly, someone is bound by the three modes of material nature, the ropes of three modes of material nature. He is under the conditioned state of that bonded life. He is bound to act under the modes of influence of the modes of material nature. The consciousness, the tribir gunabhair bhavai, the bhavai, the bhavada, the consciousness is influenced by the three modes of material nature. When someone is under the mode of Sattva Guna, although Sattva Guna is considered as the highest modes of nature, and Tamoguna is considered to be the lowest nature, and Rajaguna, although better than Tamoguna but not the best of the three. So each state of life, conditioned state of life, has a symptom for its own to understand in what conditioned state of life someone is working under. Someone who is influenced by the mode of goodness, so he'll be acting under certain kind of, he will be exhibiting certain kind of symptoms. Bhagavad Gita says, Samo Damo Tapo Shaucho Shantirarjavam Evacha Jnana Vijnana Astikya Brahma Karma Swabhavaja. So someone who is influenced or acting under the mode of goodness, he is Shamaha, Damaha, Tapaha, he is austere, he is self-controlled. Shauchau, he is very clean, not only just externally but also internally. Kshantir, what is Kshantir? Tolerance. Sometimes Kshantir is misunderstood as peace. Kshantir means one is peace, so one is tolerant. Arjava means, Arjava means honesty. Jnana Vijnana. There is Jnana and there is Vijnana also. Not only just knowledge but also realized knowledge. And Astikya means, yeah, one is obedient to the Vedic literatures. Astika means generally one who is religious or someone who is obedient to religious principles, we call him as Astika. Someone who is not, we say him Nastika. So Astikya means one who is obedient to the Vedic conclusions. He follows and practices the Vedic conclusions. So a person who is in the mode of goodness, he is known by these symptoms. And person who is in the mode of passion is always lusty, he is greedy, he wants to accumulate more and more wealth. And someone who is in the mode of ignorance, he is very lazy, he postpones the work, no interest in understanding spiritual subject matter. So, like that, everyone in this material world is influenced by these three Veer Gunamaya. So, everyone in this world conducts himself by the influence of these three activities. And in the age of Kali Yuga, the mode of passion and ignorance is considered to be predominant. And because mode of passion and ignorance is predominant, so hence this age of Kali Yuga is considered to be ocean of faults. So as soon as we see the rise in the base modes of passion and ignorance, we simultaneously see the symptom of Kali Yuga, which is known as through the ocean of faults, will also gradually increase. Like in the age of Kali, it is said, it is the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. This is a symptom of rise of mode of passion and ignorance. And there are many symptoms like that is being explained in Bhagavatam. Like there will be no rain in the age of Kali Yuga. As age of Kali progresses, there will be no rain. There will be cloud. You will be expecting now the rain will fall, but you will not get rain. Cloud will be there, but no rain. And Prabhupada says that gangs of rogues and thieves will rule the government. Dashu dharma bihi. So that is a symptom of Kali Yuga. Kara piditaihi. Everyone will be, people in the age of Kali will be harassed by various kind of taxes. Practically we see. Everyone is harassed by tax. So whatever product, even a smallest product you buy, there is a tax involved in it. Whether he is a rich man or a poor man, there is no discrimination. He has to pay the tax. And there will be no Brahmanical principles. Brahmana means he'll be known by wearing simple 2 paisa thread. Prabhupada says simply by wearing 2 paisa thread, one will be known as a Brahman. That will be the symptom of the age of Kali. So all these are because of predominantly rise in the mode of passion and ignorance. So one has to take up the process of Bhakti Yoga. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced the process of how to get mukta, how to get mukti from this influence of mode of passion and ignorance. Although we may be living in the age of Kali, although the mode of passion and ignorance will be predominant, but still we can get liberated, get relieved from the influence of mode of passion and ignorance by following the simple process of system introduced by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that is important to understand that what exactly causes us the bondage in this material world. And similarly, what is liberation? Kapila Muni further explains. Ratam va pumsi muktaye. So mukti means actually one should get himself liberated from the process of birth, death, old age and disease. These 4 factors or 4 principles are the prime subject matters or the prime principles of any miserable state of life in this material world. Although people may not understand, people may be experiencing these 4 miserable state of life, but yet they may not understand these are the prime subject matter of any concerns that need to be addressed in this state of living. And one cannot stop this process of birth, old age or death or disease by material advancement, by the scientific advancement. Rather, scientific advancement only accelerates these things. It accelerates diseases, it accelerates death, it accelerates old age also. Sometimes we see young man looking like old. We have seen that, right? We have an experience sometimes. Apparently he'll be young. How old are you? I am 28. But he'll be having a very long beard, very already white hair, grey hairs will be there. He'll be inflicted with a lot of diseases, which is uncommon to that age. Just like the introduction of weapons, atomic weapons, Prabhupada says death is already there, that is already going to happen. But by these scientific inventions, actually death is accelerated. Just like the skyscrapers, just like the motor vehicles. Motor vehicles were created for one's material comfort. In fact, any material creation was created with the aim of, with the understanding that it will give material comfort. But it more or less lands us in distress. We can see so many accidents happening, so many death happen in the motor accident. But it was not meant for, motor vehicles were not introduced with that understanding that someone will have to die by the motor accident. So the scientific invention doesn't actually stop the process of birth, death and old age and disease, but in fact it will accelerate this process. And that liberation is possible when one develops one's attachment to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here it is said, Ratam va pumsi muktaye. When someone develops attachment towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead, When one's consciousness is transferred to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, then one takes up the path of liberation. And here specifically, the Supreme Lord is addressed here as Pumsi. Pumsi means a person. He is not an imperson. And that person is a Purusha. He is not a Prakriti. He is a Purusha. Purusha means he is an enjoyer. Although living entity is also a Purusha, but the nature of that living entity is a Prakriti. It is always, the Supreme Lord is always an enjoyer, and the living entity as a Prakriti is always to be enjoyed. It is meant to serve the Supreme Lord. It is meant to serve the Purusha, irrespective of whether he is in the body of a man or in the body of a woman. But when the living entity artificially tries to become a Purusha, then it is put under the care of the material nature. And when it is put under the care of the material nature, then it is conditioned by the material modes of nature. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Purushaha prakritistohi umte prakriti janduna. Purushaha prakritistohi. The Purusha here refers to the living entity. Living entity, when it is placed under the care of the Prakriti, Purushaha prakritistohi. And what it does? Bhungte prakriti janduna. Bhungte, it enjoys everything that is created by this material nature. Prakriti jan, that which is created by this material nature. And because it tries to enjoy the creation in this material nature, karanam guna sanghasya sad asat yoni janmashu. It experiences various kinds of pains and pleasures, material pains and material miseries in this creation. So, how to get liberated? How to develop this rati, ratam ma pumsi? One can develop attachment towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead by working for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like one gets bound by working for the material nature, similarly, by working for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can get liberated also. And one can, by the same working process, one can increase one's attachment to remain under the attraction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Satatam kirtayanto ma namasyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. Nitya yukta upasate. By continuously working or serving for the cause of the Supreme Lord, one can get liberated from this material nature. And the same conclusion is also given further by Krishna elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita, saying that one can, simply by being steadfast in rendering devotional service, one can come to the Brahma Bhuta platform. What is that? Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. Mam chayo avyabhicharena. Avyabhicharena means without cessation. Not that today I did, tomorrow I have a break. Or not like a weekend bhakti yoga. In the weekend I have some time, I am doing some bhakti in the weekend. No. Avyabhicharena. Continuously, without cessation. With Dhrudavrata. Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. What has to be done? Bhakti yoga. Not any other kind of yoga. And if someone takes up to, someone who practices this process, then sagunan samataitan. He will himself cross over this guna and put himself, and again comes back to his Brahma Bhuta stage. Actually, in the Brahma Bhuta, because of not being in the stage of Brahma Bhuta, the living entity is put into various kind of struggle and struggle with one's own senses. Mamayvamsha jiva bhute jiva loka sanatana. Manashashtan indriyani. Manashashtani. By struggling with one's own mind and senses. Just like how here Devahuti, Mother Devahuti is exactly saying the same thing. Struggling with the distress of material senses. So every living entity placed in this material world is actually struggling with the senses and mind. Although he is Mamai Vamsha, although he is an Amsha of the Lord, he is struggling here. Living entity is also spiritual in nature, just like the Lord is spiritual in nature, superior in nature. Lord also has a quality, the living entity also has a quality just like the Lord has a quality of Satchidananda. But because it is placed under the modes of material nature, hence it is struggling here. So the process of coming out of this struggle for existence is possible if someone puts himself under the care of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's what is being explained here by Kapila Muni. And what Kapila Muni is explaining here is actually the highest yoga system. That is the test of any yoga system. The highest yoga system should actually help one to transfer himself from the material consciousness or Maya consciousness to Krishna consciousness. One need not have to get some other thing artificially. It is the same consciousness, as Kapila Muni is mentioning here. Chetaha kalavasya. The same consciousness we have to transfer from the state of material consciousness to the Krishna consciousness. And that is possible by Ratam Va Pumsi. And if someone increases this attachment to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he is Muktaye, then he is liberated from his state of material condition life. Okay? We'll stop here. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada.